On today's episode of Ship and Crew, we will be talking about the U.S. Open. We'll be giving our 2 ups and 2 downs for college football. And Georgie will be on his Dolphins bullshit for the first time this year. And to top it off, we will be going over our first ever 3 and out for the NFL, where we give three quick NFL game recaps, and we will give a game of the week to look forward to for the following week. Georgie, let's batten down the hatches and let it rip.
What is up? Welcome to Ship and Crew once again. Coming at you from Chicago, Illinois. I am George St. John.
And from Tucson, Arizona, as you know, it is your boy, Sean Whitley. Georgie, how are we doing today?
We're feeling all right. A lot better from where we were both at last week, gotta say. I don't know about you, Sean. For those of you who listened last week, I sustained a little injury, but we are feeling a lot better. The wheel is fully functional, and I am back off of injured reserve.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you are not on the injured reserve list anymore, Georgie. That was gave us a little scare there last week, thinking that you might have broken your foot there. Luckily, it was only a minor plantar fasciitis type shit that you had to deal with.
Yeah, I'll just have that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know, nothing but New Balances for you, boy.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you're turning 29 this year, eh?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm turning 25. You know, just reaching my prime.
Yeah, your prime. Sure.
Did you just hear that crack, by the way?
I did.
Did that make it to the microphone?
It made it to my microphone. I don't know if you're able to hear it, but was that your back or was that your chair?
That was my knee. That was my knee. Getting old. Getting real old.
To say the least. That's for sure, Georgie.
So I got you by a couple months too, so.
Yeah. No, I will say we're doing better this week, at least with event-wise. I'm not stressed for having an event coming up this week. Unfortunately, I was MIA from work today. Did have a migraine most of the day. But, we're feeling a lot better. Once I realized that I get to record the podcast today, it started helping me feel a little bit better, and I got a little fresh air after it was raining all morning today in Arizona. Big surprise.
You guys get rain down there?
Surprisingly, yeah. Every now and then, God feels sorry for us, and He gives us a little drizzle every now and then. But I woke up at probably like 5 o'clock this morning, and it was thunder, lightning. It was downpouring, and I'm like, this is not a good day for Sean's head. And I went right back to sleep, Georgie. I was not dealing with that. I was like, Rogan, you can wait to go for your walk because I do not want to get drenched, and my head was hurting. So it was a little slow morning for us, but Rogan loves the water, loves being outside, so she did get to enjoy a little bit of that after it was only a sprinkle around 8 o'clock when I took her out. But
I got you. Now that you mention it, I don't think Rogan's had a proper introduction to the rest of the crew.
Oh,
is she available right now, or is she hanging out?
Oh. And she is available. Let me fix Pickle Rick here real quick. But let me move my table here as well, so that way she doesn't knock over any of my drinks.
This is we both have very professional setups, as you can tell.
Come on.
2 episodes in the podcast. Oh,
this is Rogan.
Who is that?
Yes, she is covering my mic right now, so I don't know if you can actually hear me.
I got you.
There we go. This is Rogan. She does not want to show her face, but this is little Miss Rogan. She's just happy to be on my lap right now. She's a little cuddly ball.
How long have you had her? Are we at a year yet?
Oh, we are past a year, man. We're So she's about to turn 3. Oh, she just turned 3 years old in August. Um, and so I've had her since the January of 2021. So we are 2.5 years with little Miss Rogan here.
I was close.
You were close. You were close. But yeah, no, it's
Me in my old age.
yeah,
I'm I'm I, I'm a,
a little forgetful
I'm approaching a
nowadays.
fortnight and a half.
Yeah.
No, actually, a fortnight's 20 days. I don't even know anymore. I tried.
it's
I
your
tried
it's
to be
your
funny.
it's your old
Uh,
age and your forgetfulness, Georgie. We'll forgive you. We'll forgive you.
well,
It's okay.
dadgummit, I don't know where I've put my keys.
Oh man. Well, Georgie, I do have to wish you a little something here today. A little tribute to you. It might be also a little tribute to your old age,
It's pretty
Jo-
far away from my birthday, but
but it might
what do
be.
you got?
But today is George. It's a national. Today, well, okay, yesterday because we did record this on Tuesday. So Tuesday it is National Bald is Beautiful Day, George. So Georgie, happy National Bald is Beautiful. You are just a beautiful specimen of a human. You can join the elite like Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Who else? Jason Statham. A couple other notable. Who else do we got? Who's bald? Is Samuel L. Jackson, the king of the
That's
motherfucker?
that's true.
So you
That's
got
true.
some very very elite Brian Urlacher before he decided to grow his hair out, but we won't talk about that. Uh,
Yeah,
some
no,
very
actually, I would like to talk about that as a Chicago resident. I sure would like to weigh in. This is news to me. Thank you for wishing me happy National Bald is Beautiful Day. I agree. I believe that my look evokes um, Dwayne the Rock Johnson and Jason Statham. At least, if not from the neck up, from the neck down, because I also have a six pack. Um,
yeah, just
But
hidden
let's
underneath
talk.
the
Let's
keg.
talk about that traitor, Brian Urlacher. All right, he was one of us. He was one of us,
He
and
was.
he walked away from this life. He wasn't built for it. And now, anytime you are driving on a highway in the Chicagoland area, for those of you who don't know, outside, Brian Urlacher is the face of this Chicago-based hair plug company. I don't even know what it's called. But you drive you drive on the highway in or out of the city and you see all these billboards of Brian Urlacher, a famously bald man with
Yeah.
just the thinnest, most pathetic head of hair. It
It,
can't be
it
understated that it's not a lot,
not a lot.
but it's
And
it's
George,
it's just enough to piss me
here's
off.
here's what I'll say. He is a very intimidating man with his bald head. I got to personally meet him in person. I get at the Bears training camp back when I was younger. My aunt got us VIP passes to the Bears training camp. We got to meet a lot of awesome people. Gail Sayers, the Fridge, and then my brothers and I got to play a PlayStation with Brian Urlacher. So it's a very neat experience, and boy howdy, he is an intimidating motherfucker with that bald head. But like you said, now with his little plugs that shit that he has,
It it
intimidation factor.
it looks like the mustache I had in middle school, like that, which was quite an impressive mustache. I will, I
For a middle
will
schooler.
say. And I was first. I was the first one to facial hair in my class. It was kind of part of my identity, but it's just not enough hair for anyone to respect it. Um, it's I don't know. I feel betrayed by him. Um, he was, again, I was more of a Zach Thomas guy back in the day.
Mm,
Those classic middle linebackers. And to my knowledge, Zach's hair is real. You freaking
yeah.
traitor! I'm done with him. I like the moment I found out that happened, I swore off any type of allegiance or cheering for Urlacher in any respect. I hate that guy. I really do.
I totally get you, George.
For
I'm not
one thing.
the first time I saw him on national television with hair, and I'm like, who the fuck is that dweeb? Like he looks like a football player that didn't have hair, and then I'm like, oh no shit, it is a football player who didn't have hair because it was Brian Urlacher. I did not recognize him at first at all. He just needs to go back to his bald head, and with his intimidating, what was it, barbed wire tattoo.
Now he just looks like the one dad that's a problem on every travel soccer team. Like he's still got that mean look, but he's not
Yeah.
physically intimidating anymore. And
Uh
the
huh.
referees see him show up and are just like, shit.
A little
This,
kicking and screaming action,
this guy is going to argue everything. Like yelling at the other kids, not his kids, but everyone
Yeah,
else's kids.
yeah.
And like the parents have to have a meeting. We've noticed, Brian's behavior is a little erratic during the games. And, we're going to put it to a vote. Should we say something?
Oh. But yes,
Oh my
Georgia, I
God.
just wanted to wish you a happy National Bald is Beautiful Day. Let your bald head shine. Be a lookout or be a lighthouse for everyone for all those bald people out there, Georgie.
Oh, absolutely. And a happy National Bald is Beautiful Day to all of you sexy bald motherfuckers out there. Except for you, Brian Urlacher. You suck. Not backing down. I hope he watches this someday. I mean it. Come fight me. I don't care. I know I'll lose, but it's okay.
I'll film it for us. Don't worry.
Yeah. Anything for content.
Exactly.
Watch George get his neck broken by an NFL Hall of Famer. Oh
Oh.
my God. So, before we started the podcast, Sean, you had posed a pretty interesting question as well, that I have needed a minute to think about.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
pretty well known debate amongst the foodie community.
Yes.
But you added a whole new dimension that has my brain in knots. Tell me what's going on.
So it's two parts, as you said. There's the original debate in this, but then it's going diving in a little bit deeper. So the original debate is, what is a hot dog? Is it a sandwich? Is it a standalone thing? Or is it a taco? Is it whatever it is? Before tonight, I was under the impression a hot dog is its standalone thing. Georgie, would you assume with me the same thing on that?
I would say yes. A hot dog is its own entity that does not enter sandwich territory.
No.
In my opinion, because
And
of the state of the meat, it's not a sandwich.
and I'm glad you bring up the state of the meat, Georgie, because I think the state of the meat is what makes it a sandwich, a hot dog, or potentially a taco. Okay? So if you use, let's say, a hot dog bun to make a hot dog, then therefore it is the standalone hot dog. But let's say you use deli meat, you only have hot dog buns. Is it a sandwich or is it a hot dog? Is it standalone thing? No, I think then it becomes a sandwich. So it all depends on not what the vessel is, but what the vessel is containing. Okay?
Interesting.
So that being said, today, well, now yesterday, Taco Tuesday, I was really craving some tacos. I'm like, perfect. I'm the type of guy who has tortillas on standby. Like my my carb or bread of choice, whatever you want to fucking say, is tortilla. I have like tortillas ready to go.
Well, I mean,
Arizona,
who does?
right?
Arizona stands to reason. Um,
But I've always been a tortilla guy. Like my comfort food, it's quesadilla. I'll whip up a quick quesadilla when it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep. I'm like, fuck it, let's go have a quick quesadilla. You know?
editorial statement: Sean makes incredible quesadillas.
Yes, I do. Um, so I'm a big quesadilla guy. I'm a big just taco guy in general. Big Mexican food guy. So that's why I always have my tortillas on standby. Well, I got my ground beef all thawed out, got it cooking, and then I'm like, all right, let's go get the tortillas ready to make some soft shell tacos slash burrito wraps type things, you know. And I go in my fridge, no tortillas. I go in my cabinet, no tortillas. I'm like, shit, am I just about to eat ground beef and cheese? Oh my gosh, I just remembered I could have made a walking taco. Oh, I have
You
Fritos.
blew it.
Oh my god.
You
I blew
blew
it.
it.
I blew it. I blew it.
You could have had.
I could have had singly the best Midwestern dish out there.
You could have had one of the, like, for those of you who are not familiar with a walking taco, let me host you out in the Midwest sometime. It is simply a bag of Fritos or Doritos,
Yep.
and then you put all of your taco fixins in that bag, like a single serve bag.
Man.
And you know what? You haven't been out here long enough. It was something that Sean and I went to college in Iowa. It's something
Yeah.
that was in our cafeteria
Yeah.
on special occasions. Like, it was a big day when it was walking taco day in the Loras College cafeteria.
It's usually a little bit during winter, you know, because it warms up your hands a little bit while you're carrying it. You know, it's a nice comfort food. You know, um, the first time I saw a walking taco in college, Georgie, I was like, "What the fuck is a walking taco? Aren't all tacos technically walking tacos?"
And my
In theory,
hillbilly
yes.
Midwestern bum ass was like, "Whoa, you've never had a walking taco? You just put it all in a chip bag. It's delicious."
And it is delicious, but no, a walking taco, you need to try it. I even this morning, so this morning when I'm like, all right, what am I gonna have for dinner tonight? I already knew that I didn't have tortillas, but I forgot about it until after I started cooking. And I was searching everything this morning, and I just looked at the bin that has all of my leftover snacks in it from my hiking trip, my camping and hiking, and that's where I have my Fritos. I forgot to pull them out, otherwise I would have had walking tacos for dinner. But anyways, back to this.
Back to the story you were going to tell 5 minutes ago.
back to the original story is it's all about the vessel. So because I forgot that I had Fritos for walking tacos, I ended up using hot dog buns, and I made tacos with hot dog buns. So
Now
now,
that's Midwestern right there.
right?
Like, we don't have anything else. Hot dog bun. I like I remember like lunches growing up when we would run out of bread and my mom didn't have a chance to go to the grocery store yet, like we would know when a grocery store trip was coming when like our
Yeah.
PB&J was on a hot dog bun. This was the warning. We're going to the grocery store soon.
Yep. We were the same way. We were the same way, Georgie.
Gotta do
So
what you gotta do.
it's not
utility.
unnatural. It's again like the vessel of the hot dog bun doesn't make it a hot dog itself. It is the vessel itself is universal to make it a sandwich, make it a hot dog, or make it now a taco.
So, are you saying that a hot dog is a taco?
Yes, I am saying a hot dog is a taco. That is my now hot take. I am all on board. I also started thinking that a hot dog was a taco a little bit earlier this year because here in Tucson they have a thing called a Sonoran dog. And it is basically I forgot to introduce you to these when you came out to visit.
That's all right. I've been introduced. My cousin Nick lives in Phoenix, and
Okay.
I've been introduced. We didn't talk about this pre-planning, but I actually have the Wikipedia page for the Sonoran dog. For those of you who don't know, shout out Nick Williams, my cousin, for introducing me on the night of his wedding, actually. But
There you go.
let's check out what a Sonoran hot dog is.
They are delicious. All right. I just want to like preface this. They are delicious.
So a Sonoran dog,
And you don't think that it should work, but it does work. George, go ahead.
they're so good. They're so good. Sonoran hot dog, style of hot dog that originated in Hermosillo, the capital of the Mexican state of Sonora, in the late 1980s. It is popular in Tucson,
Tucson, thank you very much.
Tucson. You sure about that?
I am 1,000% sure.
Tucson, Phoenix, and elsewhere in southern Arizona. It consists of a hot dog that is wrapped in bacon and grilled,
Mm-hmm.
served on a bolillo style hot dog bun. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. So somebody please correct me if that's not the correct pronunciation. And topped with pinto beans, onions, tomatoes, and a variety of additional condiments, often including mayonnaise, mustard, and jalapeno salsa.
Yep, and a little cheese sauce. The good spot down here is BK's. When everyone was first telling me like, oh, you gotta go to BK's for a Sonoran dog, I thought they were talking about Burger King because in the Midwest, when you say yeah, I'm going to BK's, you're going to Burger King. So when everyone's like, you gotta go to BK's for a Sonoran dog, I'm like, why the fuck would I go to Burger King? They're like, no, 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 no. It's literally called BK's. And they have like a little cheese sauce also that they put on it. Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Oh, man.
So
I'm going to be honest. I stopped listening to you because I got lost in the pictures of all these Sonoran dogs.
yeah.
This one's got mayonnaise on it.
Yeah.
I think these here are the best. And then I got more lost. Look at all the different variations of hot dog
It's wild.
that they have. There are Wikipedia pages for all of these types of hot dogs. That is, I have an idea, and I'm leaving it up to you, the audience. You can tell me no, but I'm wondering if we should feature a different hot dog every episode from this list.
I'm not gonna lie, Georgie. I thought you were gonna say, let's have Sean taste test all of these hot dogs in Tucson.
What if we made them?
I could fuck around to make them. I'm totally down for that. Boy.
What if we made them? Like, go through the list, make a hot dog. This might be a move. Maybe not every week, but like
let's talk about it offline.
Dog of the month. We'll discuss it.
Yeah.
For those of you listening at home or watching at home, let us know in the comments. do you want more hot dog related content, or are you quite frankly sick of this? Let us know.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
anyways,
I don't know where that like
went off the rails a little bit. We're all good though.
That's
We're all
amazing
good.
that we were on the same page.
Same wavelength. But anyways, hot dog is a taco. Thanks to the snoring dog that can confirm it. So make the poll: is a hot dog a taco or is it a hot dog? Because I think it's out of the question of being a sandwich anymore. We're past that. We are on the next level of thinking here, Georgie, with a taco or a standalone item.
I'm with you, but the hot dog sandwich people, they're a dedicated, mighty group.
Dedicated.
So I think we're going to enter into more discourse than you're leading on to right now.
They have to choose because we're on a higher plane of thinking here, with looking at it as a taco. It's not a sandwich anymore. It's a taco or a hot dog. There's no sandwich possibilities anymore.
I believe it was debates like these that Aristotle believed were the key to higher enlightenment.
Yes,
that's my understanding.
95% sure on that too. Yeah.
It's my understanding of what I know from ancient philosophers. Moving on to content involving anything other than hot dogs. Sean and I have been following the U.S. Open quite a bit. We are tennis fans on the podcast, and we just want to send out a quick congratulations to one of our own, an American winning the U.S. Open. Sean, take it away.
Got a little Coco Gauff coming in hot, winning her first major, her first Grand Slam. The great thing is it was on the U.S. soil, so we love seeing a fellow American winning the U.S. Open. It's great to see, and I can't remember who she beat, but you know what? She just made him look childish. Honestly, I believe she won. I don't know. I didn't watch the whole thing because football was on, so but I did watch as much as I could. I was flipping back and forth. But if I remember correctly, she did win in the first two sets.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I believe it was a straight set victory.
Yeah, it was just well done, well performance. And I think that's talking tennis with us. So.
Yeah. Look at that. Mostly football podcast. We have not discussed any football 29 minutes into this, but with that, we do have an announcement to make. With her victory in the U.S. Open, we as a group, as a team here, have decided to make a statement that not only is Coco Gauff part of the crew, but we are making the statement: the Ship and Crew podcast is unofficially the official podcast of all Coco Gauff supporters. So if you are a fan of Coco Gauff, guess what? You have a home here. Part of the ship, part of the crew. Welcome.
Yeah. So
you know what's my favorite thing about Coco Gauff, though? Before we move on, we mentioned it earlier on the podcast. Now that I'm making the full shift to New Balance only shoes, I think it's great that she is actually a New Balance athlete.
Love to see that.
Isn't that something? Yeah,
that's amazing.
New Balance has signature athletes. No, like basketball players, but they got tennis.
It's better than Reebok.
I don't know. It's that N, that classic N, just screams like barbecue. But yeah, but she actually does have she's the only tennis player with a signature shoe through New Balance. Have you seen these shoes, Sean?
Let's pop them up here, Georgie.
Pop
before we move on to football.
They're nice. They're real nice. Take a look at these bad boys.
Are those
Yeah.
actually the shoes?
These are, oh, you know what? I
Are
got the
those
wrong
your
I
are
got
those
you
your wannabe
I
shoes?
got the wrong ones. I'm so sorry, Sean. I was shopping um for for my shoes in the future. That's my bad. That's my bad. Actually, these are the shoes. I don't think this is the only colorway, but these are nice.
I do like her shoes. As you were saying, they're a little bit more like basketball like look to them. But honestly, I just like them. They're a little bit more different than your typical tennis shoe that you see out there. You know?
Yeah, I usually don't see high tops for tennis, but I like the high tops.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I also did some digging for you. Those of you who like wide sizes, they come in a two. Oh, excuse me, burp, hot dog burp. They come in a 2E. So get ready, all you wide footers out there. Cop yourself a pair of Cocos, CG1s. Time to talk about football.
Let's move on to football.
Let's talk about football. We promise we're still a football podcast. All right. So moving right along,
Yeah.
we are going to do things a little differently. We have received your feedback. We have been made aware that we need to speed things up in terms of how we cover college and pro football. So we're just going to give you a rundown of the scores. For those of you watching, just go ahead and take a look, see all the scores from last weekend. If you are listening, enjoy this nice music that we've curated for you while we run down the scores. As soon as the music plays, it's loading. My goodness, this is embarrassing. I promise we have
All
music.
right. You're not even going to listen to music. You're just going to listen to us yabble here while we show the scores here. Because, yeah, we don't have the music ready. So
Yeah,
look
but
at these scores. Wow. Look at that score. How about that?
it's right here. I swear to God, I hit play.
Uh huh.
It's just I'm taking a screen. I'm going to show you. I'm screenshotting this.
All
That is
right.
ridiculous.
And that is all the
I just
scores.
secured the rights to this music. That's also I didn't need to secure rights. I just downloaded it. It's free.
All right.
We checked. We're not well. We're not in any copyright danger. That's for sure.
But who needs to be in copyright danger when you don't even have the music to play? So that.
Sean, I swear to God, I played it. I
I
don't
know
know.
we
It's
tested it out. We tested it out. I believe you,
we
George. You
tested it
know,
out.
it's
I have it on live. Not like
okay.
Murphy's
Those are
Law,
the
man.
scores.
Murphy's Law.
Those are the scores from this past week. And Georgie, let's hop right into our 2 ups and 2 downs.
All right, I'll get started with
Yeah.
my 2 ups. So first off, the first few weeks, we're gonna be honest. There's only been a handful of really good games and a lot of top 25 teams beating teams that they should. And I want to give a props to those teams. They're getting it done. They're showing up, keeping, taking care of business for the most part. There's some, a few teams, maybe not so much. We did have one upset in the top 25 this week. My unranked Miami upset special on the road against Texas A&M. Rough day for the Aggies. Tyler Van Dyke was on fire for the Hurricanes, going 21 of 30 for 374 yards, 5 touchdowns. We had a hat trick for wide receiver Jacoby George. Had to call out George. Am I right? You know,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
you're so sick of it. I don't care. I don't care. It's going to be dumb jokes like that all episode long. Get ready for it.
I will say that Miami game was it was a nice spectacle to see for the Hurricanes to
It was
shit on the
fantastic.
Aggies.
That's right. 2 interceptions as well. I really think it was a complete game for Miami. They're looking solid. They're so pretty excited to see how they do moving forward. 2 downs, really 3 downs with unfortunately we didn't get to play the elevator music, but we'll get into my 2 original downs. Number 1, Wisconsin. We called it last week. What's going on, Badgers? You just dropped a stinker on the road against Washington State, losing 31-22. We said it would happen. That's what you get for running the spread. You're Wisconsin. You've forgotten who you are. You are a 3 tight end and a fullback team. Like, you just run the goal line formation in Madden. That's it. That's who you are. Don't even think about throwing the ball ever. Just run. You did this to yourselves. And then I got one last down. An old friend of ours. This actually wasn't really something that we saw this week. I'm actually pulling something from last week, but I think it's important to highlight when our friend Kelly does something stupid.
Fair.
Do you remember Kelly,
Yeah.
Sean?
Oh, I remember Kelly.
Kelly?
I remember.
For those of you who don't know, we're talking about our boy, Kelly Bryan. That's right. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Back, and the stash is thick. Kelly had a pretty terrible press conference after that loss to Florida State. For those of you who have not seen it, we're going to go ahead and play the first few seconds for you.
Hopefully.
We will. I got this one up. All right. This one's actually going to work. You did it, Kelly. You are back to your old form, blaming everybody but yourself. Well, I just don't think we're the football team we thought we were.
Yeah, no.
Just
it comes
stand
down
up guy.
to good old Kelly.
Stand up
Kelly.
guy. Well done. I'm sure your players were sitting there thinking, you know what? It is our fault.
That's who I want to play for. Someone who blames us, not his coaching, but he blames us instead.
It's just, my God, what a loser. Anyway, that's my 2 ups and 2 downs. Sean, take over.
All right, coming in at my 2 ups. This past weekend, I didn't get to watch as much football as I would have liked to have because I did have my my event this weekend that took up a lot of my day. But my 2 ups, obviously, it's got to be with Notre Dame and CU both winning. Notre Dame, they ended up winning 45-25. Sam Hartman threw for 286 yards and had 4 TDs. You love to see those stats. And honestly, I think that they had a little weather delay that helped them get back into their groove. Before the weather delay, I was scared. I was nervous. I was getting updates throughout my event, and I'm like, oh, fuck, what is happening? And then they went into a weather delay. I got to watch the rest of it while I was unloading my event, and it looked tight. Look, I was pleased. They won. They won. They came out decisive in a 45-25 win, in a game that I thought was going to be a lot closer. And if you watch the game, it was definitely a lot closer. But they started taking away with it, and love to see that. Um, and then my other up is CU, and they took it personally. That was Deion Sanders, Coach Prime's. That was Coach Prime's fucking message for the entire week. Take it personally. And if you don't take it personally, find something that you will take personally to take it personally out on the fucking Nebraska Cornhuskers. Those pieces of shit, those fucking goddamn worthless football players, and whoever their fucking coach is. I don't even remember his name. Why? Because it's not fucking Urban Meyer, who they should have hired. Again, little side tangent.
Did they give Scott Frost a 7th year to figure it out?
God, honestly, that's what it looks like is out there, quite frankly. The players are happy with Matt Rule, but the fans aren't. Guarantee you that. And a guy who hates Nebraska football, I'm loving it.
You hate Nebraska football?
I know.
I don't think we've introduced, your hatred for Nebraska to the fans yet.
No, this will. You guys might get sick of this, but until Nebraska wins a game, I'm shitting on them. I'm sorry. The only good thing Nebraska has going for them has nothing to do with football. It's their women's volleyball program. They're ranked number 4th nationally right now. They just beat Stanford tonight for the first time since 2008. They're looking great. They're going to go. They probably will win volleyball nationals this year. They are a great program. And in fact, Georgie, I don't think we talked about this last week, but Nebraska set the record for the most attendance for a women's sporting event. So 93,000 plus people attended the outdoor volleyball matches at Memorial Stadium. They had University of Nebraska Kearney there. They had Wayne State and UNL. I saw updates. It was absolutely electric. It was more electric than their fucking football games because they actually had people in the fucking seats. They just didn't have alumni buying out the seats. So like, oh yeah, we still have all of our tickets sold out record when half the seats are fucking empty for the goddamn football games. Fuck. Sorry.
I can't. I'm sorry. I know. I know.
I get myself riled up talking about Nebraska.
I know you hate the phone calls for years. Just I fucking hate this place. Like,
oh my gosh,
like
dude.
there is years of pent up anger that I think only like Sean's mom and I are aware of. That is just all letting itself out on this podcast. You lived there too long.
I lived there way too long, Georgie.
Even when I went to visit, I was like, when I visited you, you were still pretending to like it. We actually went to a Cornhuskers game, and I remember just thinking like, he's gonna get sick of this in 10 days, and you did.
Yeah.
About 10 days.
I can get myself riled up just talking about how shitty Nebraska football is. But back to my up about CU, they took it personally. They went in there and did what Coach Prime wanted to do and just fuck on them. Show them who is the goddamn football boss in that rivalry. I loved it. Shedeur Sanders what threw for what is it? 393 yards. 393 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing. Georgie, he is a Heisman candidate for me. I like him. I like him a lot. Um,
He's looking
you
solid.
know,
He really, both games,
yeah,
he has such a command over the offense where at any point they can explode. And that,
they can, man.
he is the guy that's running. Travis Hunter is awesome.
Another
But
one
the
that,
way Sanders runs that offense, they do a
yeah,
great job.
it's
I
next
think
level.
you're onto something. It's possible if
Um,
this keeps going the way it is come Heisman time.
yeah,
I think he'll be
yeah.
there.
You know, the CU they take on CSU this weekend, which is a nice little in-state rivalry. So it should be a classic shit pumping. CU should just rock the world on CSU, which will hopefully pad the stats for Shedeur Sanders. Um, but the big game that we'll have to look out for him is the following week against I want to say USC, or is it Oregon? I think it's Oregon
Oregon.
actually. Yep, Oregon. But anyways, let's move on to my 2 down before I start shit talking Nebraska again, because that could be a whole hour segment just me shit talking
You
Nebraska.
know what? Let's make that a thing. So like you shit on Nebraska and I will shit on Brian Urlacher's hair for like that will be a whole episode. We won't even
Yeah.
do the dedicated football content. We're just going to talk about those things
Yep.
and anything or anyone else we hate, but mostly those two. I'm sure
Yeah.
Kelly Bryan will make an appearance in that episode.
Probably. But
Um,
anyways, my two downs. The first one is um, it's another new rule that they added to college football, and it's the offense can't snap the ball until the defense has time to make a change to the offense's personnel, and it's kind of aggravating. It's basically getting rid of that 12th man on the field penalty that almost gives the offense a free play when the defense is struggling because the offense is running a hurry up offense. You see, and it also takes away from the offensive play clock. So it allows the defense to run down that play clock if the defense is trying to run out the clock, it just I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's a big down. It goes along with the first down time stoppage and how they don't have that anymore except for the last 2 minutes of each half. I think it's just doesn't help the game. It takes away from the game. It takes away from the strategy of the offense being able to run that hurry up offense. So I'm not a big fan of it. My other big down, which is a big down because I hate to see it, it's our D3 Loris College Dewhawks and our NAIA Briarcliff Chargers. Um, both teams struggled to get traction this weekend. Loris looked decent. I got an update during my swimming event that they were up 14-0 at the end of the first, and I'm like, oh my god, praise be Jesus, we actually might do something good here. Granted, we didn't win the week before, um, but I thought we were going to have another one, but we ended up getting shit pumped. It was not a pretty sight. Um, and same with Briarcliff. Tough opening 3 games for Briarcliff. We hate seeing it. Um, we're hoping for the best for both of our for our friend Coach Cozio with Briarcliff, but also for our alma mater. We want them to do well. Yeah. So looking back at the score for Loris, they were up 14-0 at the end of the first, and they lost 42-28. So not an exciting game there for Loris, except for the first quarter there. Um, and
that's
then
a that's a tough one for sure. I will say, I do feel like Loris football has improved so much and come
Yes.
so far since
Yes.
when we were there. I remember, I remember it was very, very rough. We had a new coach come in after our freshman year.
Okay. All right. So actually,
Yeah, you would know better than I would.
what was that coach's name? Our freshman year. I can't remember the coach's name, but he got fired.
He was not popular.
He got fired with like 2 games left, I believe. And Coach Steve Helminiak came in as the interim head coach, and he is now still the head coach for the Loris College
And
Jayhawks. And
that
he had
program has come a long way, and I think he has a lot to do with
a
that.
long way. A long way. He has a great relationship with the players. He has a great relationship with the alumni, which is a huge thing. The alumni, especially for those small colleges, are key. And if you don't have a good relationship with them, like you're out. Like you'll be out like that. But if you have a good relationship and they see that you're making improvements in the right direction, they'll keep you on. They believe in them, So love to see that, and I do hope for the best for them. I'd love to try to make it out to a game. When I was living in Nebraska, that was the one nice thing. I could go to a couple games, at least one game a year, to go support the boys. Um, but now we'll have to try to make it back for homecoming one of these years.
I won't be able to make homecoming this year, so don't.
I can't go this year either, so it
All
doesn't
right.
matter.
20.
All right.
Tell you what.
Speaking of homecoming, though, real quick, did you know we're having our 10-year high school anniversary this year, Georgie?
Really? 10
I
year high
just
school.
got I just got something in the mail for my 10-year high school anniversary, and holy fuck, now do I feel old, George.
Did you have a 5-year reunion?
I
Anyway, on to another embarrassing thing about myself. I'm not looking good in this. You listeners may have noticed that in the last 2 episodes, I was critical of the University of Texas as a football program. I maintain that up until this past Saturday, I was right. They shocked me and the world, and beat beat Alabama. Number 11 Texas beat Alabama 34-24. Last week I apologized to Coach Prime in Colorado, and this week I am apologizing to Coach Steve Sarkisian and Texas. I was not familiar with your game. Well done. You had Alabama on the ropes. You had me not enjoying my friend's birthday party. For those of you who saw me Instagramming through it.
George, real quick there, that was my highlight of the fucking game. Was your drunk live Instagram stories. That was
I wasn't drinking, Sean. I don't know what you're talking about.
No. We know you were drinking. Mama Witt knows you were drinking. I
You
called her up.
You can't prove it.
She was like,
you can't prove
oh
it.
my gosh,
can't prove it.
We can. We saw the drinks.
No,
we saw the Hawaiian shirt. We know. We know.
There was no drink in my hand on camera. I know the rules. All right. So you can't prove shit.
Oh man.
But you know who can prove shit? Texas, and they proved to me that I'm a bad evaluator. Quinn Ewers was a star for Texas. Showed poise throughout the game, going 24-38, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Great game by him. They had a 2-head rushing attack, Jonathan Brooks and CJ Baxter. 25 carries between them, 88 yards, and Brooks got the 1 rushing touchdown. And then Texas had 5 different receivers with 3 or more receptions.
Insane.
That's wild. I not as much on the college level, but still, that many guys getting involved in the passing game.
Love seeing
When
it.
there's not one guy to guard, that's scheme right there. And feeling real dumb for doubting Steve Sarkisian. Well done. Shut up. You don't get to say that. All right. Sark can call me himself. We have 10 listeners and we keep on like inviting big names to join us on the podcast. We'll see when it happens. But yeah, 5 sacks by the defense. It was just a really strong game by the Longhorns all around. Are they contenders for the playoff?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. Texas is contenders for the playoffs. They are about to. They just signed their playoff spot right there. As long as they keep winning,
they have to keep winning.
They have to keep winning. Obviously, that goes without said. For all the teams, you have to keep winning. But with beating Alabama, I don't see. Oklahoma will be a good game, but I don't see Texas losing to Oklahoma. I see Texas taking the Big 12. I see them being the face of the Big 12 in the playoffs this year before they move on to the SEC. It goes back to my case in point that they want to make a name for themselves before they move into the SEC. I think Texas got the playoffs.
Well, you could be right. My national champion pick, Alabama, is on life support at this point. So, one of us has to make good picks. Moving on to week 3, we wanted to do a preview of our favorite games. But when we went through the list of games, we couldn't help but notice that they are all not very good games. Week 3, if you're going to pick a weekend to skip college football, it is this one. The 2 best matchups we could come up with was 11 Tennessee going to Florida, and then we have a classic battle of the nerds, Northwestern at Duke. So, Sean, I would say which team do you think is going to win, but I think the more important question is which team has the higher GPA?
Higher GPA, I think overall we got to say Northwestern. I think Northwestern has the overall higher GPA because, remember, Duke actually has good sports like basketball and lacrosse, where in college athletics, you see those teams that have those sports that have really good teams. Those athletes might not be as engaged in class. Usually you see it with football, like we saw with the Duke's QB. You wouldn't see that excuse coming from a Northwestern QB saying, "Oh my gosh, I didn't get my homework in." So I do think that Northwestern probably has the overall better GPA. But Duke has better athletics for basketball, lacrosse.
I follow.
That's about it.
So
maybe rowing.
So Duke is a little bit cooler. So you're thinking Northwestern has a higher GPA?
Well, cooler.
Like they're a little bit cooler.
I mean, it depends on how you define cool.
They're better athletes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is our expert analysis. ESPN, let us know when you want us to come on College Game Day. Just Sean and I and Desmond Howard will break it down for you.
All on gut reactions. Nothing with stats at all. It's all about gut reactions.
That's right.
And how they do in the athletics.
We think Duke turns in their homework slightly less. So we'll be taking the Wildcats in this matchup. With that, we need to move on. We're on we're about to switch gears a little bit. Lost my train of thought.
But before we switch gears,
Right.
I am going to introduce our new first sponsor of the Ship and Crew podcast. We are brought to you by Wits End Snacks, home of your most flavorful homemade beef jerky, hot sauces, and other treats. For more information on our products and to place orders for the time being, email witsandsnacks@gmail.com. That is witsandsnacks@gmail.com. We have beef jerky, hot sauces, and all sorts of other treats. So go ahead and shoot us an email and we will hook you up with your most desires. Georgie?
I do like me a good beef jerky. So
Who doesn't love a good beef jerky?
I'll definitely be hitting up Wits End for some jerky, hot sauces, and whatever they may provide. With that being said, if you have something you want to sell, you got a product that you want promoted on the top rated podcast by our parents, here's a great place to do it. Get in on the ground level before we start charging more than free samples. So please reach out, contact us. At the end of this episode, we'll be providing our contact information. But reach out to us at shipandcrewpod@gmail.com. Again, we'll be providing that information, or you can reach out to us through any of our social media sites. We'll be providing those links as well attached with this podcast. But we want you guys involved. Those of you who have been dedicated to listening to us really figure this out. We really appreciate you, and we want to, we want to help you out. Promote your business with us. Also, we are looking for new music to go along with our show. So if you are a musician, if you make music, any type of music, we're not picky. Go ahead and reach out to us, write something, send it. We will give it a listen, and we will, we'll follow up with you. So please, if you have any talents to share, let us share them on our podcast. That's, again, off my soapbox. We're going to shift into our NFL coverage. And with that,
speaking of NFL coverage, Georgie, go ahead and just talk about your fucking Dolphins. That way we can get this over with.
Get it over with? All right.
Get it over
That's fair. Sean, you go ahead and put your microphone on mute. I have to address America right now with a real problem that I have noticed. Again, this is not the only podcast I listen to. This isn't the only analysis of NFL or college that I consume in a week. And I can't help but notice that even after one of the greatest week one performances in NFL history, Tua Tagovailoa still does not get his due from people who claim to analyze football. From the jump, from the start of this season. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. Definitely should have prepared, but I didn't. Here we are. This list right here is NBC NFL analyst Chris Sims' top 40 quarterback countdown to start the season. Sitting at the top spot, people you would expect: Pat Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, I guess, Justin Herbert, little high, Lamar Jackson, Trevor, the usual suspects. Then there are some very middle of the road quarterbacks here. And then up at number 21, Mr. Tua Tagovailoa, who had one of the most prolific passing seasons in 2022. Did he get hurt? Yes. He did have injuries. He dealt with concussions. Was he one of the most efficient, accurate, and honestly most incredible passers when he was healthy? Yes, he was. He was. But for some reason, nobody wants to give him his due. First, it was about talent. Oh, he's Tua turned the ball over. He's, he can't throw the ball downfield. He makes bad decisions. Blah, 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 all these things. Tua got better. Proved everybody wrong. Proved the people, proved my friends, my family, my mom, not a believer in Tua, by the way, calling you out, Mom. He responded. He got better. He worked with a new coach, Mike McDaniel, and had one of the best seasons. Well, he had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Okay, great. Joe Montana had Jerry Rice. Do we fault him for that? I don't think we do. I don't think we do at all. The Rams, greatest show on turf. Do we fault Kurt Warner for having a great coach in Mike Martz? We don't. Why do we do it with Tua? Why do we keep consistently moving the goalposts to not give this man his due? I don't understand it. But you pissed him off. And now he's coming for everything he deserves. And look out. Because we're going to cover Josh Allen, who was terrible. And the exact same as he was last year. A strong arm. No, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. A strong arm who is an interception machine. We're going to cover Joe Burrow. And we're going to cover Lamar Jackson. Guys who are consistently ranked above Tua, who had really bad weeks. Tua got better. And here he is having the best start to the season. If he stays healthy, which he prepared for, he did jiu-jitsu. He knows how to fall. He's got the best helmet in football now.
I'm so glad he learned how to fall finally getting into the NFL and didn't learn that in middle school when he should have.
Well, I don't care. I don't care. He knows it now. And now he's got everything in his power to absolutely take this league over.
Except the defense.
From this moment forward, if you are a listener on this podcast, you have 1 week to jump on the bandwagon. After that, I will not accept, and I am tracking it, I will not accept you jumping on the bandwagon any later than 1 week after the release of this episode. Believe now, or get ready for me to tell you how wrong you have been about a guy who has done nothing but his best. And now he's going to do his best and own this league. Be one of the most prolific passers we've ever seen. He was Brian Dable, coach of the New York Giants, when he was the offensive coordinator at Alabama, said there are players. It's something to the tune of like there are players that can that have what's called doorknob accuracy, where they can hit a doorknob. Tua has keyhole accuracy. He can throw it through a keyhole. Tyreek Hill said...
when he's not getting knocked down.
Well, he's not going to. He was sacked 0 times in this game. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, couldn't get to him. He's figuring it out. Good luck to the rest of the NFL, and good luck to everyone who doesn't want to give him his due, because he's coming for it, and he's going to take it. Here he comes. Here come the Miami Dolphins. If that defense figures it out, watch out.
Which they won't.
We will see
34 points.
We will see if the defense figures it out, we will see the Dolphins late in January, and I'm going to be more insufferable. That is my promise to you. That's my promise. If the defense figures it out,
I will let you
Tua
be
will
more
figure it out.
insufferable
I will be so insufferable. Get ready.
Be more insufferable later on this season. We do have to move on. We are way over our time.
No, we don't.
Right now,
Everybody else
Georgie.
stunk. Everybody else stunk this week. So I don't think we have to, but let's move on.
All right, moving on to our 3 and out, Georgie. Your rant is over. No more talking Miami. Thank you.
You're not welcome.
I'm not. I don't believe in Tua. I don't think he's going to get it done. There's a reason why I had him sit on my bench this week for fantasy football.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you? You started Justin Fields, right?
No, Lamar Jackson.
Oh, Lamar Jackson. How'd he do?
Anyways, our 3 and out for this week. So, usually in our 3 and out, we will be covering our primetime games. A lot of our primetime games were kind of shit this week. Well, they were good. There was one game that was really shit. That was the Cowboys and Giants. Cowboys won 40-0. That's the recap for that. The first game we'll be talking about in our 3 and out is the Lions versus the Chiefs, and Dan Campbell. And I'm excited, dude. I love Dan Campbell right now. He is looking good. The Lions are looking good. I love to see it. What pisses me off is the broadcasters. Right at the end of the game, the broadcasters were immediately saying that this is an asterisk for their win. And I'm like, fuck that. How the hell is that an asterisk? If it's an asterisk, then every other player who is injured, all those games have asterisks next to it. Last year, DeMar Hamlin, when he almost died on the field, he was out for the rest of the DeMar Hamlin, right? Or did I say that correctly?
You got it.
Yeah. So when he almost died on the field and he was out the rest of the season, though that Bills lost to the Bengals, that has an asterisk next to it when they lost in the playoffs. It doesn't count. It's an asterisk.
All those games the Dolphins lost last year without Tua get asterisks too, right?
Exactly. So yeah, they all have asterisks to it, Georgie. So those broadcasters are absolute shit. If we're going with the asterisk way, I don't believe in asterisks. You either fucking win or you lose. Fuck them. The Lions won. Fuck the Chiefs. Fuck Patrick Mahomes. Fuck Travis Kelce. Yes, I do love Travis Kelce. He is absolutely amazing. Did he make or break that game? Yeah, they could have. They probably would have won with Travis Kelce. He's just a game changer on the field.
I actually think it was a pretty hard fought game. I think. I think it's
I
more what the Lions did well.
Dude, the fact that the Dan Campbell on the first drive of the game was the first drive, I believe it was. He went for it on 4th down on his own 17-yard line. He did a fake punt, and they ended up scoring a touchdown that drive, dude. Like, how the fuck, like, the balls on this coach. It's electric. Love to see it. Love to see it. Love Dan Campbell and the Lions. The Chiefs, you shouldn't be losing that game when you just won the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter if you have Travis Kelce and Chris Jones or whoever the fuck the injured guy was. You shouldn't be losing that game if you're the Super Bowl champs. Unless if you're going up against Dan Campbell and his big balls. Because his big balls just won that game.
Those players up in Detroit love him.
They love him.
I think that's going to bode well for the Lions going forward. They're going to win a lot of games that maybe their talent says they shouldn't. So I'm really excited to see where the Lions go from here. I think the Chiefs will be fine. This week there's a little bit of like, hey, what the fuck was that? But I think the Chiefs will be fine moving forward.
They will be fine. You know, it's first week jitters. You know, you can't really look too much into it. The nice thing about the NFL is if you lose a game, your season's not over like colleges. You know, it's the NFL. There's still 17 weeks left. Plenty of football left. 1 week isn't going to define them, but love to see the Lions beat the Chiefs. So love to see it.
Moving right along to our second featured game. We are looking at Monday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills went to New York to take on Aaron Rodgers for 10 seconds and the New York Jets. And again, the story of this game, unfortunately, Aaron Rodgers, we got the report earlier today, he is out with a torn Achilles, out for the season. A lot of players spoke up, actually, during and after that injury about turf fields and about how they're more dangerous, specifically the turf in New York, which is kind of infamous for being one of the worst turf fields out there. So that's going to be an intriguing conversation because one of the sport's biggest stars, one of the most newsworthy players, especially this season, is now gone. The Jets, a team that I think had a shot at the Super Bowl. Now with Zach Wilson in there, we'll see.
We'll see. But
we'll see.
I do have a few notes on this game. One, you never like seeing a player get injured. But my personal feeling is I've been a guy riddled with concussions throughout his life. I would rather see my opponent get a torn ACL, get a torn ACL. Or did I torn Achilles, torn ACL, torn MCL, whatever it is? Like
Two
actually
torn
have a left and right knees. Honestly, I would rather have that happen to any football player than getting a concussion. The lifetime effects from concussions, it's so hit and miss, and it's so much more detrimental to the athlete itself than getting a torn Achilles, which it's going to be a lot of work to come back from, but he's still going to be able to come back and not see as many lifelong effects from it, And a guy like Aaron Rodgers, he's going to have a career after the NFL. But then again, it's Aaron Rodgers. I'm a Broncos and Bears fan. He fucked on the Bears for the last how many ever years. I don't give a shit if he gets injured. And guess who else doesn't give a shit if he got injured? The entire state of Wisconsin. The entire state of Wisconsin fucking hates him right now. So much so that there is a bar in Wisconsin that if Aaron Rodgers started the game and lost, he just needed to start the game. So if he started the game and the Jets lost, that entire bar would have paid for everyone's tab. So everyone, when Rodgers got injured, they all just started drinking like a motherfucker. They do what Wisconsinites do best and pound down those Spotted Cow and everything else that they're drinking. Was it Spotted Cow and old fashions? Those are what they're known for up there.
Sounds about right. And don't forget Busch Light.
And Busch Light, of course. But dude, there's a whole news report about it that like people like lost, like they had to pay like $300-400 tabs because they thought the bill was going to be covered by the bar. So like the bar, genius idea by the bar because they just made so much money. But damn, that's how much the state hates them that they were like, fuck it, Yeah, so fuck Aaron Rodgers. Sucks that you got injured. I'm sorry.
I think that's kind of mean.
Really give a shit.
And I'm a Dolphins fan. Jets are a rival. That's kind of mean.
Fuck them.
I don't know. Not a good color on you.
I don't care.
Okay. Also in that game, I think it needs to be said, the Jets defense stepped up. We knew that was a good group. They got some fantastic players. Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner. They're great. And I think sorry, go ahead.
Who is the guy who had the 3 interceptions?
Oh, you're gonna make me look very unprofessional.
I can't remember
because
his name.
I forgot his name too.
But he hit his interception bonus in one game. He got his $250,000 interception bonus in one game off of Josh Allen. Like that's like just that's incredible to hear.
Awesome.
Like the fact that it was all in one game and against Josh Allen. Like, that's just fucking wild.
Well, Josh Allen is a very nice guy. I believe that.
Big hands too.
I believe he's a nice guy. From a football perspective, that dude was awful. That was an awful, just timid, just terrible performance. I know Rodgers went down, but if I'm a Bills fan, I'm feeling 10 times worse than a Jets fan after that game. As soon as Rodgers went down, the Bills should have won that game by 30.
By 30.
But even with as good as the Jets defense was, but Allen was just simply inaccurate. I don't think he had like a grasp of the playbook. I don't know if it was jitters. We've had this. This is, again, these are two teams I hate. This is slightly related to my Tua talk. We won't dwell on it too much. We fall in love with these strong arm athletic quarterbacks. Man, he can throw that ball a mile. But if you're not accurate, you're going to throw it to green, whether it be a Jets player or the grass. And Allen has not developed. The mental game isn't there. And quarterbacks who are just all brawn and no brain are getting exposed right now. Teams aren't blitzing as much. They're dropping guys into coverage, and quarterbacks have all the time in the world to make huge mistakes. And I think Josh Allen's going to struggle throughout the year. I think teams know how to play him. This is going to keep happening. I feel very strongly that the Jets could have a better record than the Bills without Rodgers at the end of this season. That's my take. I'm done with it. I know I'm a Dolphins fan who's punching down right now. Don't care.
That's a bad color on you, George.
Don't care. You know what? I didn't cheer for anybody to get hurt. I just pointed out that somebody's bad at their job. Moving on to the third game. We got Bears versus Packers. Woof.
Yeah.
One team's feeling a lot better than the other after this game, too. Resident Bears fan, Sean, how are you feeling?
Not good, Georgie. Not good.
No?
With Rodgers leaving, I was really excited. He made the statement that it was like that he owns Chicago. And so I was really hoping after he left that Jordan Love would just get fucked on by the Bears, and quite frankly, is the opposite. He looked solid. Like, was it 245 yards and 3 TDs? Like, that's fucking stats right there.
Mm-hmm. It's efficient.
Fucking stats.
It's efficient.
I hate seeing it, but god damn, it was tough to watch. What was worse to watch was having to flip between the Bears and the Broncos for the 2 games I was able to watch. And those being my 2 teams, so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I get both of my teams. But watching them, bro, brutal.
The Bears brutal. Looked disorganized.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on, but I had high hopes, and
yeah,
that performance was almost so bad. Like, the best way to respond is just to like throw that tape out.
They might have overcoached what's his name? Justin Fields a little bit. They might have made him overthink doing his running schemes a little bit. I don't know. But they need to figure something out. They need to just be better. They need to be better.
Yeah, I think
that's what it comes down to.
I think the both offensive and defensive lines were dominated by the Packers.
Yeah.
And I think Fields, this is weird to say. I think he played okay. I think he was running for his life. I think the Bears couldn't get a running lane to save their lives. And I think, they really tried to lighten up the box with the horizontal passing game. And it seems as if the Bears receivers were not blocking for each other. So that part of the playbook that I think would have really helped open up those running lanes for Deontay Foreman, who, when he got his chances, played pretty well. He had some great runs. But I think the ineffectiveness for those receivers to really hold those blocks for each other hurt the Bears so much, where the Packers looked like, even if Jordan Love isn't Aaron Rodgers, a well-oiled machine. So I think the Bears could grow from this, and we'll see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, I think something that we'll be talking about it here in like a minute or two. Well, we have a tier list, we're ranking our teams that will change week to week. So we'll see how it changes. But right now, I feel like we have a good placement on the Bears. But yeah, moving on to our out for our 3 and out is our outs are going to be looking at next week games. A game to kind of be like, ooh, this is going to be a good game to watch. And Georgia and I were looking at the schedule, and the best game that we saw was the Thursday night game. We got Vikings versus the Eagles. That's a great rivalry that they have there. There's some history between those two teams, and I think it's going to get chippy and it's going to be fun. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, two fantastic offenses as well. Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, great connection. And the way Jalen Hurts runs that offense in Philadelphia, I think we're in for a good one on Thursday. Usually the Thursday night games are stinkers. This is an exception to the rule. I'm excited. We'll see what happens. With that, we'll move on into our tiers. So we watched the games week 1. We evaluated these teams. We had some healthy debate between the two of us, but we came to a consensus on where every team is at going into week 2. Yeah. We have some Super Bowl contenders. We have some teams that are already thinking about the draft and everything in between. Again, this is going to change week by week, but we'll just get into it pretty quickly and kind of explain how we got where we are and what could change. So with that, let's pull it up. How's that looking, Sean?
That is looking fine and dandy like a piece of candy.
All right. So we will we'll start with our bottom tier. The Arizona Cardinals, we have them on the clock. And I think it's going to be hard for them to get out of here. This is a team that is building for the future.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot else to say.
Yeah.
We wish them the best during their rebuild. We won't be covering them much. Our next tier.
Our next tier is, what the fuck was that? And this tier really goes out to our top ranked teams coming into the season. Like, I don't know, like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, who all got fucked on.
Some really, really rough weeks. Those are the top 3 teams in the AFC. Going into this season, everybody was saying those are the top 3 teams in the AFC. Dolphins might be better, but those were the teams that everybody thought were the favorites.
Those 3 teams are the Super Bowl contenders to the experts, not to George, to the experts.
And to George. Along with the Dolphins. But I'm not backing off. We are feeling cocky as hell this week. So
after letting up 34 points.
Yeah, well, defense has to work on stuff, but when you have the most electric quarterback in football, throwing to the most electric wide receiver and the second most electric wide receiver in football, you feel pretty good about where you're at.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, I'll take a shootout. But yeah, I think these three teams eventually move out of the what the fuck was that tier. But right now,
They will.
That's where they stay. We had two other stinkers, the Steelers and the Giants, just dropping games, looking terrible. So
piss poor.
I predict this will be the most volatile tier.
Yeah.
Like a lot of teams are going to be in and out of here. U5, yikes.
Yeah. And honestly, there might be some weeks that there might not be anyone in that tier, but right now, this week, those 5 teams are the crowns of what the fuck just happened.
Moving on to the next tier, we got same shit, different year. These teams, we don't see a lot of movement from where they were a year ago. The Bears were probably the team we were expecting to be in this spot the least, but we got the Bears, Titans, Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much self-explanatory right there. The Bears, they look the same as last year, just not exciting. Titans, they try running with Derrick Henry. They try passing with what's his name?
Ryan Tannehill.
Couldn't even remember his name. It's like same shit, different.
Unfortunately, it's a very vanilla offense for the Titans, and you have Henry, and that'll get you success. And Tannehill's a pretty good, a good, not great quarterback who will get you some success. I just don't see them making the leap. Same with the Seahawks. I think that team might even make the playoffs just because of where the NFC's at.
They could.
They had a rough first week. I want them to move out of that spot. But man, they look the same as last year. And there's a few teams that are well above where they're at right now.
Sure. Our next tier, we have meh. They're just meh. And leading that off in that tier is my Broncos. They just looked meh. When you lose to the Raiders, it's just meh. What really sucks about losing to the Raiders is we haven't beat the Raiders in, what is it? The last time we beat the Raiders was over 1,300 some odd days ago. I can't remember the exact amount, but it's been a long fucking time, Georgie. It's time for us to beat the Raiders again this year, so we do need to win the next competition. But they just look meh, Russell Wilson didn't look as inspiring.
Yeah, I think all the teams in this tier are in places where they're starting something new. They're not all like rebuilding with young quarterbacks. A lot of them are. You got the Falcons, Panthers, Texans. Those are, kind of 3 of the big rookies. Well, no, I guess Desmond Ritter's not a rookie, but you got teams rolling with rookie quarterbacks. You got teams that are kind of, a lot of guys in new positions. They're not gonna be solid. They're not gonna set the world on fire. Maybe in the future, but probably not this year. Our next tier, and we have quite a few teams. This is our highest represented tier. Kind of beg the question: are these teams sneaky good? You got a lot of teams here that we didn't expect a lot out of. They either got big wins or held games closer than we thought they would.
Yeah.
I think the biggest surprise out of this group, other than the Colts, I thought Anthony Richardson played really well against the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Big surprise to me is the Buccaneers.
Yes.
Tom Brady leaves, and we all forget about, there's still a pretty solid roster with a lot of vets on that team. Throw in Baker Mayfield. He's not Tom Brady.
Love it.
But he's still a pretty good quarterback. And I think the Bucks are going to surprise some people. I think I'd have to go back and check where we rank them in our preview. We'll see. We'll see how they do.
Yeah.
A little could be a little worrisome. This
One
is
of
our
the teams
favorite
I
tier.
liked out of there.
What's that?
I was gonna say one team I liked out of there was the Saints. They looked decent from what I was able to see. But anyways, moving on to our next tier. Georgia, you want to introduce it?
Sure. This is our favorite tier. In the Brad Pitt and Troy tier, we have the New York Jets. Achilles, am I right? Do we
Yep.
need any more explanation as to why this tier
No.
exists?
Moving on.
We couldn't.
Uh,
I will say we couldn't really put the Jets in a tier just because they're going to have a lot of moving. They're in transition now with Zach Wilson. It's tough to evaluate them right now. They look pretty good. I don't think they're going to suck.
all right. Moving on to our wait and see tier. Here we have three big teams. I feel like we have the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Vikings. Honestly, all three of these teams, they didn't have the best first week. The Chargers were probably like the second best. Like they probably scored the second most points for the AFC teams this weekend. I think I can't I might be wrong on that, but
I think so. In
um
hindsight, I think we have the Chargers a little low here. Um, I thought
I do think they're a wait and see team. I think we kind of have to see how the Chiefs respond also, because the Chiefs will be probably end up leading the AFC West. But the fact that going into week 2 the Raiders are leading the AFC West just blows me the fuck away.
yeah. No, that's a good point. Um, I think one thing to remember here is like the AFC is so loaded that the Ravens and Chargers might even be a little bit better than the Vikings in this tier, and the Vikings have a much better chance to make the playoffs, which is wild. But I think all of those teams they're gonna jump in one direction or the other. I like the Chargers the best out of those teams, and I almost want to
Mm-hmm.
move them up into the next tier right now, but I think they'll get
No,
there eventually anyway. So, moving on to our next tier. Whose turn is it to introduce the tiers? Is it mine?
go.
I'm sorry. We'll clean this up. Um, our next tier is pretty damn good. I don't like how this tier was put together personally. I think there's a team in the Super Bowl contender tier that I would trade with the Dolphins because I think the Dolphins are Super Bowl contenders, but I promised to be somewhat unbiased, as you can tell by what I decided to wear tonight. Um, but yeah, these teams, they could pop up into Super Bowl contender territory. Again, Dolphins have, the best quarterback of the season so far. Um, Lions looked awesome. And I think the Jaguars are just a really solid team that is going to make some noise and, pretty hard not to pick them to win their division. So you'll see all these teams in the playoffs and they're going to do some damage to some teams. So, feeling pretty good about these teams' chances.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our last tier is our Super Bowl contenders, and I would not let the Dolphins into our Super Bowl contenders this
You are
week.
so
When
wrong.
you give up
You're so wrong.
34 points, 34 fucking points. No, you can't be a Super Bowl contender with a defense like that.
Could be fluky.
Um, but when you have a Cowboys team that puts up a goose egg, they're Super Bowl contenders.
That's a team that I
Uh,
don't believe should be there.
the only reason they are there right now is because they won 40-0. The other two teams are actual Super Bowl contenders, with the Eagles and, I hate to say it, the fucking 49ers.
Why do you hate the 49ers, Sean?
I'm not a big fan of Christian McCaffrey.
Why is that?
That's a topic for another day, Georgie. We are getting too long tonight.
I agree. We're low on time, but we're gonna dig into why you hate Christian McCaffrey so much.
That is a whole nother topic. We are pushing our hour and 45-minute time right now.
I will say part of
wrapping it up.
We're wrapping it up, but part of why I allowed the Cowboys to be in the Super Bowl contender tier is this is the last piece of my apology to Texas fans. You will not receive another apology again. I will be sitting back waiting for your team to fail again, which will happen.
It will happen. Not the Longhorns, but the Cowboys, yes.
Both. But yeah, we'll see. I could be wrong.
All right.
Is that a wrap?
How's our tier list? That's our tier list. Yeah, that's a wrap for this week's episode.
All right. With that, as promised, we're going to go ahead and post our socials here.
Pulling that up. Pulling it up here. There you are. Pull it up. There we are.
Awesome. We want to hear from you. What's going well on the podcast? What's going wrong? Why does Sean hate the Dolphins so much? You can ask all these questions through our social media pages, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can find us at Ship and Crew Pod with all underscores in between each. And again, you can also reach out to us personally through email at shipandcrew@gmail.com. You can also comment on our YouTube and Spotify episodes, full episodes. Leave a comment. Please send us feedback. Let us know what you think. I've received feedback in text messages. Some very positive, some very negative. Please send us both. We want to hear both. We want to know what you think. And we want to answer some of your questions on the podcast. So please, whether it's a football related question, whether it's a silly question, whether it's why does Sean hate Christian McCaffrey so much, which is a question I'd like him to answer. We will talk about it on the podcast. So please reach out to us. Let us answer your questions. We're happy to do it.
We can also talk about why we're always going so much longer than we planned on going. I don't know why, but we can always talk about that as well. We always try to shoot for an hour 15, but yet we never hit that. So.
That's Sean's passive aggressive way of blaming me for extending the length of this podcast. With that, if the episode is too long, let us know you feel that way as well. We would appreciate your feedback. We thank you for continuing to listen. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close. So thank you so much. Please check in with us next week. We're going to keep things rolling with our week-by-week analysis of games and some other silly and fun hijinks for you. So thank you so much for listening. Sean, anything else before we head out?
No, see you guys next week. Love you guys.
I swear to God, I'm playing the music. I swear to God, I'm playing the music.
Are you sharing your audio?
Yes, I'm sharing my audio. I don't know what's going on. Okay. We need music, so please provide it. How about this? Yeah, okay. Bye, guys.
Love you. Stop recording.
It stopped.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Why does it still say recording?
It says stopping on my end.